This video lecture has been produced using artificial intelligence with the supervision of Belhaven faculty.
All right, let's start with a really core idea here. Theory isn't just some academic concept you read about in a textbook. You should think of it more like a blueprint, or maybe even the DNA for a group counselor. It's the framework that guides every single thing they do, from how they lead the group to the specific techniques they use to help people. So, with that in mind, let's take a quick tour of 6 major theories that really are the foundations of group counseling. Each one offers a totally different lens to see and understand what's happening in the group. Okay, first on our tour is the psychodynamic approach. This one is all about looking back to understand the now. It helps group members connect the dots between their early life experiences and how they're acting today. The leader here is kind of like a detective, carefully observing how people interact to spot hidden patterns, defenses, and something we call transference. That's just when someone unconsciously projects feelings from a past relationship onto someone in the group. The big goal? To bring that unconscious stuff into the light, leading to those powerful aha moments of insight. Next, we have a very different model, CBT, or the cognitive behavioral approach. This is a very hands-on, structured way of working. It's less about digging into the past and much more about making practical, measurable changes in the present. The group gets down to business, identifying those sticky, unhelpful thought patterns, and then using really concrete tools like skills training and even homework to build new, healthier habits. Now, for a total shift in gears, we have the person-centered approach. If you think of CBT as a structured workshop, this approach is more like a deeply supportive conversation. Here, the leader isn't directing traffic at all. Instead, their entire job is to create an environment of complete safety and trust. They do this through genuine empathy and unconditional positive regard. The core idea is simple but powerful. That safe, trusting relationship is the very thing that makes healing and growth possible. Then there's the Gestalt approach. Gestalt is a German word that means whole, and that's a great clue, because this approach is all about the here and now. It's not about analyzing what happened last week, it's about what you are feeling and experiencing in your body, in this room, in this very moment. Members get to process their emotions as they happen, using powerful, in-the-moment techniques like role-playing to become more integrated and self-aware. The existential approach, well, this one gets a bit more philosophical. This is where a group really dives into the capital B big questions of life. We're talking about our search for meaning, the burden of freedom, our sense of responsibility, and even feelings of isolation. The leader's role here is to facilitate these deep dialogues, helping members confront these core human concerns directly. And finally, we have the incredibly important multicultural and social justice lens. This approach brings a crucial piece of the puzzle, the recognition that none of us live in a bubble. Our cultural background and the social systems of power and bias we navigate every day deeply shape who we are. So a leader using this framework actively works to empower members, adapts their methods to be culturally sensitive, and make sure that every single person's unique experience is truly seen and valued. Okay, so we've met the 6 major theories, but what does this actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Let's connect the dots now and see how a leader's chosen theory directly translates into what they actually do in a group. This chart really lays it all out beautifully. You can see the clear through line from theory to action. For example, look at a CBT leader. Their directive behavior flows straight into interventions like skills training. Then, just contrast that with a person-centered leader. Their whole approach is empathic, which leads to a totally different toolkit focused on creating a safe climate. It's a perfect illustration that a leader's actions are never random. They're an intentional expression of their theoretical foundation. To really make this sink in, let's zoom in and get practical. We're going to follow a hypothetical CBT group from beginning to end, just to see how that one theory informs every single stage of the process. So imagine a group for adults who are just overwhelmed with workplace stress. Right away, because we're using CBT, the goals are crystal clear and measurable. See how they aren't vague, like feel better? No, it's about reducing specific symptoms, building a literal toolbox of new coping skills, and creating a space where people can support each other while they practice. And here's the group's roadmap. If there's one word to describe CBT, it's structure. Just notice the logical flow here. You start with the fundamentals, then you move into identifying and changing those negative thoughts. After that, you practice concrete new skills, and finally, you wrap up with a plan to make sure it all sticks. It's a very clear, step-by-step process. So what's the leader up to during all this? Well, their role perfectly reflects that structure. They are not a passive observer. They are an active teacher, a coach. They're the one providing worksheets, guiding the exercises, and creating opportunities for members to learn from one another's successes. This active, teaching-oriented style is really the hallmark of a CBT group leader.
So, we've taken our tour of the theories and even seen one in action. Now the focus is going to shift a little bit, away from the information on the screen and more toward your own professional journey. This really brings us to the final and perhaps most important question. As you've listened to these different approaches, from the deep, past-focused work of psychodynamic theory to the practical, skills-based approach of CBT, which one resonated with you? Which one just feels like it aligns with your own values and your own personal style? Now, there's no right answer here, but starting to think about where you fit and finding your own theoretical home, that's a fundamental step in becoming a counselor. For anyone who wishes to dive deeper into these concepts, the primary sources used in preparing this lecture are listed here. They provide a comprehensive look at the theory and practice of group counseling.